Hello there. I'm Michael Riggs. I'm one of the members of the bass section in the Lake Geneva Symphony, and I am here to talk to you today about tuning this thing to harmonics, which I think is, and many people agree, is the best way to tune this instrument. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so why do I need this? Because, I mean, we've all got tuners on our phones, and so I can just tune the instrument that way. And maybe you don't need this, in which case you can stop watching right now. But tuning the instrument to harmonics is the way that professional bass players tune, and it is just a really much easier way, and faster, actually, than using a tuner, if I'm being honest, because you get to use your ears instead of your eyes to check all four strings. So what you're going to, I'm just going to pause him right there for a second. Hi, it's me again. I bet you didn't think you were going to get two of me. So then you can just imagine that this is like the director's cut, right? It occurs to me that there were some things that I wish that I had said during the video, and so now I get a chance to do that. So also, look at him. That's a great way to pause that right there. That's exciting. Also, you can play harmonics into your tuner, and it, in a way, might be easier in some fashion, because I find that the bass is such a low-pitched instrument that even sometimes the tuners have a hard time hearing it, like the E string. And so you might try playing harmonics into your tuner and see if that helps you out. Guitar players do it. This here for a second, and it just popped up an ad. Now, normally we would stop the recording and do a take two for that, but I don't do that. I do everything in one take. So in order to be able to do this via harmonics, we're going to need you to be in, with your left hand, in what you might call third position, and some people call second position. I've got it on this instrument with a tape, at least the first finger on a tape. There's no fourth finger tape on this instrument, and that's fine. So your third position is going to be where first finger is on C on the G string and fourth finger is on D on the G string. Now, for those of you who might need a more different visual example, I've got one right here for you, and we're just going to annotate this all nicely. So this is supposed to turn into a pen now. There we go. And these are the notes that we're interested in. And this is responding super slow right there. Those are the notes that we're interested in, the C and the D. And they're located right here. And you're going to go across all four strings. That's nice and crooked. Good job. And that's a little bit better. So those are the two position notes that you're going to need in this position. Let's let him carry on. Our notes across all four strings, and in fact, you're going to need to play across all four strings in this position. So if you're not really familiar with this position, then you're going to need to try to make yourself comfortable playing here. Now, that's a great teaching right there. Good job, Guy. Is that what you tell your students? What's nice about this is that if you just touch the string instead of stopping it completely in certain strategic locations, then you get a harmonic. And they're located all over the place, right? There's one right here. It's an octave and there's harmonic. Ones in this position that we're talking about. Now, they don't exist everywhere, right? If you just put your finger on a random place on the string, then there happens to be the squeak there that kind of is a note, but not always, right? We don't always get a note. So you're going to have to, you can only do it in certain places. It turns out that underneath your first finger here and underneath your fourth finger, there's going to be a harmonic. So instead of playing this C, if you just touch it, then you get a really high note. And instead of playing this D with your fourth finger, if you just touch it, then you also get a nice high note. And that exists across all four strings. So how do you use this? Well, the one that we want, actually, is your fourth finger on the D string. So the note, if you were going to play that note right there, but if you just touch it, then you get this. And it turns out that that's an A, which is an extremely useful note. This is the same A as your open A string, but it's in a much easier register to hear and to deal with. Now, what do you do with that? Well, okay, so let's say you're sitting in class or, whatever, you use your tuner and someone plays an A and you're supposed to tune your instrument. Well, there's an A. Get ready for this. Now this instrument is sharp, weirdly.
I knew the instrument was not going to be tuned to A440 when I picked it up, and I in fact wanted it to not be tuned to A440 when I picked it up. I didn't know that it was going to be that far off. It had been sitting in my classroom all summer, and the strings just all went sharp over the summer. And, maybe you didn't play your instrument over the summer too, and maybe your strings also went sharp over the summer. Anyway.
So I need to bring that...
More. No, leave it there. It sounds fine, but he doesn't hear it.
Now, any of you who are sitting here listening to this,
Like
if this
me.
is out of tune, then you're going to be like, why is he so bad at tuning? Well, tuning is hard.
I'm judging you right now. It's flat. Stop. Now it's sharp. Still sharp.
Okay, we're going to call that right there because otherwise this video is going to go on too long. So, once you've got this note in tune, then your D string is in tune. Congratulations. Now, in order to tune all the other strings, there's a little trick that you use with the harmonics. And so what happens is the fourth finger harmonic on one string should be the same note as the first finger harmonic, the next string lower. So the next string lower is the A string. Now, this is going to sound really ratchet because my instrument is sharp, but I did that so that you would be able to hear what this sounds like. So there's my reference, my pinky note on the D string. I then play my first finger harmonic, the string lower, and that is not the same note, but it should be. So I need to go ahead and lower that. And I'm going to try to make it so my first finger harmonic sounds exactly the same as this fourth finger harmonic over here. So once I've got that, then I just run that same pattern again. Fourth finger on the A string should be the same note as first finger on the next lower string, which is my lowest string, the E string.
You should work with me here.
Okay, so now we've done all three of my bottom strings. All three of these strings are in tune. We have to go back and pick up the G string now. And in order to do that, you have to run that pattern sort of backwards. So the first finger note on one string is the same as the fourth finger harmonic on the next string up. So I'm going to go back to my first finger on the D string here. And I'm going to see if that's the same as my fourth finger on the G string. Spoilers, it won't be. Yep, so we're going to have to go ahead and do that. And so now, all four strings should be in tune.
One note about this, you'll notice that all four strings were sharp, and they were all very sharp, and they were all sharp kind of the same amount. We find that string instruments work that way, right? So like the whole thing is a system and it works together. So unless you've done something where you like hit the instrument against something and knocked one of the strings out of tune, they generally sort of all work together as a team. And if you start tuning and you find that one string is a certain way, then it stands to reason that all of the other strings are also going to be that same way. So you can sort of manage your expectations when you're getting ready to tune your instrument, and then you won't be surprised that suddenly all four strings of this instrument were way sharp after having sat in a room for 3 months. And it's just, the instruments work that way.
Now, earlier I said that this is faster than tuning to a tuner. You may not agree based on how long it took me, but once you sort of get used to it, and if you're not demoing it for somebody, then it ends up being pretty quick. Now, a couple of tips for you about this. Number one, when people are playing harmonics, they get really weird with the bow, right? So we play with light with the left hand in order to get the harmonic. But you have to play the bow as if it's a normal note. People will play the harmonic really with no weight in the string and really foofy, and then no sound comes out. And they're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my harmonic? Why isn't this happening? Well, it's because you're not giving it anything. So go ahead and put some weight into the string and play that harmonic just like a normal note.
Be nice if we could see your bow hand. Oh well.
So that's the right hand tip for this. The left hand tip is you can't have any other fingers down if you're playing a harmonic. So hopefully you've been taught if you're playing like a normal note, right? If I'm playing, a fourth finger note, that all my other fingers are down. And if I'm playing a second finger note, by the way, you'll notice we haven't used the second finger for any of these harmonics. That's because there isn't one there. If you have your second finger down, then you have like 1 and 2 down, right? So normally if a finger's down, all the fingers below it are down. With harmonics, it doesn't work that way, right? If I put my pinky down, I get a nice harmonic. If I put all 4 fingers down, I get nothing, right? The string doesn't know what I'm trying to do to it. So you can only put down the finger that you're actually playing. And then the last tip for tuning to harmonics is about your ears. So you'll notice that I tuned this note here on the D string first, and then I played it and checked the note on my A string. And that's the procedure you should use. You play the note that is in tune first, and then you play the note that you're trying to tune.
You'll notice that he also he played each note only once. So he played the fourth finger note on the D string once, and then he played the first finger note on the A string once, and then he made a decision. And you should do the same thing. A lot of times people will play back and forth in between these two notes a billion times, and they play the two notes so much that they don't even know what they're listening to anymore. So I'm preempting what he's about to say here, but I think this is equally important. So you should play your reference note, play the string that you're thinking about tuning, decide in your mind if you think that you need to make a change, and then make that change. And then try it again. And if you have made it better, then great, you can continue to make it better. And if you made the wrong decision, then you're going to hear it, and then you can just try again the next time. But people get so wrapped up in playing those two notes back and forth that then it's like they're vapor locked and they can't make a decision. So don't let that be you.
A lot of times people will play, they tune this note and then they'll play this and they'll be like, oh, is this the same? I can't tell. I really don't know. Well, it's because you're doing it backwards. So play this note, then play the note you're checking and see if it's in tune.
One time
and if
each.
If not, then do something until it is. And then you know that now that the string is in tune, and then you play this,
once.
And then you play the note that you're trying to tune
once.
And see if it's in tune.
And make a decision.
People get sort of all turned around and they don't even know what they're doing. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful to you. Tuning to harmonics is sort of a bizarre process when someone tries to show it to you, and especially on a video. But it is a really useful trick, and it will help you to tune your instrument faster, and it's also really impressive. So hopefully that works out for you. Thanks for watching, and good luck.